This email is titled Testosterone Loss and Its Destruction.
Okay.
And this is from the woman of the relationship.
Okay.
Hey guys, I don't know if you've covered this topic or not, but I just wanted to share my current situation with my, partner, ?
Well, this isn't off to a very good start.
I kind of don't know where we stand right now. We've been together for a little over 5 years. We were engaged for 3. The last year has been rough with finding out that he had thyroid cancer, which led to surgery. Then he needed knee surgery. Then he got sick again. And the most recent was testosterone loss. I knew we were struggling within our relationship, but I was exhausted and struggled with depression, but focused mostly on just getting him better. And in doing this, I somehow managed to miss how important his testosterone is and what he's going through. He didn't tell me how much of a drop in testosterone he was having, which caused me to not put it as a high alert on my radar.
I'm going to pause. So being that he had thyroid cancer and he went through a whole lot of shit that could absolutely affect his testosterone, but normally when testosterone drops, it's gradual. It doesn't just plummet.
Right.
So this is a medical anomaly maybe, but I feel they need to plug Matrix Hormones. We are a partner with them. They sponsor the podcast. If you have testosterone issues or this email makes you think you have testosterone issues, we highly recommend that you check out Matrix Hormones. If you go on there, fill out the new patient form, put in the drop-down menu to be better, it'll save you $200 on your initial consultation with them. And if you've never had your blood work done, I highly recommend doing that, because even if you are perfect, you now have a guide so that if your testosterone drops, you have something to compare it to later in life as to where you should be, so that somebody, a doctor, whatever, can get you back to where you're supposed to be.
And places are known to go, oh, well, he's at 800. We can get him up to 1,000. And that'll be a higher testosterone level, when at the highest you had could have been 1,800.
Right. Which would have been rare to be that high, but
I don't know. I don't know testosterone levels. So I know that 100 is low.
Well, anything under 300 is low. They've actually just redid the numbers. Every time, like every few years, they lower the numbers.
Right, because it lowers the expectations.
Right. Well, men's testosterone, your grandparents had 3 times the testosterone that men do now on average. And when I first got my blood work done, high was 1,300 and low was 3. So like a lot of men are in that 300 to 500 range, and that's low testosterone. So anything under that is abysmally low. And there are a lot of men who are getting their testosterone checked who are in their 20s that are coming back at like 150, 200.
That's insane.
So they lowered the fucking scale because it's becoming less normal to have high testosterone. You guys need to get your blood work done. We are not okay because of the shit that's going on in this country with our food, our environmental surroundings. Like we have a masculinity issue, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of that comes down to the lack of testosterone in men.
Do you think that it's the hormones they're putting in food?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think it's increasing levels of estrogen in everybody?
Yes.
Because women are more unruly now than they have ever been.
Well, it's not a matter of being unruly. There's growth hormone in a lot of food to make things bigger. There's higher estrogen in things like you are seeing, 7 and 8 year old boys with fucking gynecomastia.
Yeah.
So
unruly probably wasn't the word. I think.
Well, we know that there are women out there who are having their menstrual cycles in single digits. It's becoming more and more common.
I am absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
Of our young child coming to me and saying, I don't know what's happening. I'm dying.
Eat organic if you can. Get your blood work done for sure.
Yeah, I've stopped taking the kids to McDonald's. We don't really do fast food anymore. It makes me uncomfortable thinking about their future.
Yep.
Even though it's easy in the moment. Back into the email. Apparently it got so bad that I kept loving him while he was secretly packing his things and had apparently decided he didn't want to be with me anymore. He started packing his things, and he even got his address changed.
Is that testosterone, or is that him being unhappy and he's using that as an excuse?
It could be.
Yeah.
He started packing his things, and he even got his address changed to where he was going to stay. I was already struggling with depression and exhaustion / burnout, but the surprise news took me out. I wasn't broken, I was destroyed. Really, though? Because you guys have been on and off. You used to be engaged, but now you're not engaged, or is that not what the relationship was, and you guys were super solid for 5 years and then out of nowhere?
Well, she said they were engaged. They've been together for 5, engaged for 3, which immediately throws up a red flag for me. Being engaged for 3 years doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
That's a placeholder. There's no intent to actually get married there. But then she said that he had thyroid cancer and knee surgeries.
Yeah.
So if this has been ongoing for 3 years and this is what their life has become, that's also a different conversation as to why they haven't gotten married yet.
Right.
But she also said that she wasn't taking care of herself, that she's been focusing on him. So there's a self-care issue there that is going on as well. And if you are a caretaker for somebody and you're not taking care of you, that's a huge fucking problem.
It is. Okay, so I guess I'm confused on the layout of what has happened.
Well, there's not enough information.
Right. So were things good before the thyroid cancer? Or did the thyroid... I guess I just don't understand. I'll just keep reading.
Yeah.
He kept all of his emotions in to where it looked like none of this bothered him whatsoever, further burying the dagger into my heart. It wasn't until the day he was supposed to call the U-Haul truck and pack his large items, because he had already moved boxes into the new place with his car, to move, that he suddenly broke. Mind you, this moving thing and whatnot was over a duration of almost 2 weeks, since he said he didn't want to be with me. This isn't working for me or us, in quotations. That day, this man broke in front of a woman who already started closing the door simply due to the amount of damage that it was causing, just to preserve my own well-being and sanity. But seeing him for the first time actually show true emotion as he repeatedly said to me, "I don't want to go, I don't want to leave," I was finally able to see him. We talked probably more than we ever have, and I'd like to thank you guys for providing an example of how to set those conversations, because apparently we were both very bad at it. We both agreed that we would start over, try to put more effort into both of our individual care, so that way we can improve ourselves in order to see if we can still have that relationship, or even if we should have that relationship. Are you confused? Am I just the only one?
I think it's just you. I'm not confused. I think there's a lot more going on here than his testosterone, but I'm waiting to just see what happens with the email, because right now it's just not adding up.
Yeah.
People don't end their relationship because they have low testosterone.
Right.
Sex drops, depression starts, sleeping more or less happens. A whole lot of physiological changes happens in the body. We could become more grumpy. It's no different than a woman having really high or really low estrogen. You have to be in balance. If your body's not in balance, it affects your life, but you don't destroy your relationship because your testosterone's low.
Right.
There's more shit that's happening here. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Okay. I guess that's why I'm confused.
I understand hormones for too much for this to be I'm leaving because my testosterone's low.
Right. Back into the email. The relationship of what we are right now is still very confusing for me, because I'm still mourning the loss of what we had and the breakup in general. But it has opened the door for me to think of things in a different perspective. I had an epiphany of deep understanding of what he was going through. Us women spend our lifetime enduring our hormone fluctuation, starting at puberty, going into young adulthood, then bearing children, then hitting a certain age. We have practice, we have support, we have education all around us all the time. I disagree. A vast majority of women do not understand how their bodies work.
Right. Most people don't understand how their bodies work.
So you may understand how your body works and you may have done the research yourself, but just like men are not educated on these things, the population of America is not educated on these things.
I will agree with her, though, that women have a lot more information out there and a lot more understanding and acceptance to hormones than men do, because of hysterectomies and understanding what happens during the menstrual cycle and things like that, where men don't get that, because testosterone is evil.
Right. I agree. There are so many failing mothers out there, though, who don't teach their daughters about their body.
Right.
I didn't really understand hormones and like the cycle of menstruation, and that women go through a cycle every single month. It's not just the menstruation cycle. There are things happening in those other 3 weeks. I didn't understand all of that until I was about 25 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to point out that there are a lot of young women out there who are also being failed by the system the same way that men are.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I do disagree that it's on the same level because it's not.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's less about what you said and more what the emailer said. Because she wrote, us women spend our lifetime enduring our hormone fluctuations starting at puberty, going into young adulthood, then bearing children, then hitting a certain age. We have practice, we have support, and we have education all around us all the time.
I agree with all of it but the education.
I disagree with all of it.
Yeah.
Because yes, we go through these fluctuations and we experience being a woman. That doesn't mean that all of us understand
Right. Well, that's what she said.
what is happening.
She didn't say you understood it.
But then she goes on to say men don't have any of those.
On the same level as women, we don't. We don't. Most men have no idea what their testosterone numbers even should be.
Right.
Let alone what a normal range is.
Right. Just because the information is out there for women doesn't mean that women know it.
Right. But it's more acceptable for a woman to go get an estrogen pill or a patch than it is for men to go get testosterone.
I don't understand why that is. That doesn't make sense to me because...
Right. It doesn't change the fact that that's the case.
Right.
Testosterone is demonized. It's looked at as a steroid. If you take testosterone,
right,
you're on steroids.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying right now.
But that's where that comes in. So it is different for women than it is for men. Because,
so she means the demonizing aspect of it.
Right. It's more acceptable and more readily available for women than it is for men. Is it approaching?
Yes, probably.
I think this comes down more to her saying that it's more readily available for women to have this information and to get help than it is for men to get help with their testosterone.
Okay.
I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's a fact, that it is easily more accessible for women. I think that women are trained, though, to not seek out those kinds of helps. Just like how there's domestic violence shelters that can help women. A lot of women, yeah, I know those are there, but... and then continue on living in their life. Like they don't go to the resources.
Right.
I guess what I am trying to say is that just because it's more easily accessible doesn't mean that women are more well-versed or knowledgeable on what their body is going through.
How would that not correlate?
Because I was one of those women who did not understand my body.
Right. But
with this wealth of information in the world, I went through puberty, young adulthood, adolescence, and all of that with zero information and zero understanding of what I was going through. I was just angry and depressed.
But the resources were there.
Right.
The resources for men until the last 5 years were not there.
Right. I'm not arguing that point.
So if the resources are there and it's taught in school and you have a period.
It's not taught in school.
Okay.
I'm not trying to argue against you or anything.
It's not the same. The resources being there, because a minute ago you agreed that the resources are there. People just aren't utilizing it. The resources being there means that more women are going to be informed on that than men are because there are no resources for testosterone. You have to go to an age therapy clinic to even get prescribed testosterone.
Right.
Up until the last 2 years, GPs wouldn't even prescribe testosterone to men. And now they're doing it in a way that's fucking men up. And it's not helping them because they don't understand the hormones. It's not, it's just not the same thing.
Right. I know it's not. I guess I'm trying to say that I don't want this image of that hormones are super easy for women, because it's not.
Okay. I don't think that's what she was getting at.
Okay. So when men experience testosterone loss, it is literally the first time dealing with fluctuating hormones since puberty, which most don't remember.
Right.
And a man is going to try and handle it being completely and unknowingly armed. This man has suddenly experienced sex drive loss, confidence loss, low self-esteem, body image issues, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of worthlessness, weight loss issues, sleeping problems, unexplained sadness, brain fog, feeling weak, feeling like he isn't good enough, etc.
All sides of low testosterone. Every one of them.
He was so lost and scared, he had no idea what to do. And that's why he thought that leaving the situation was what he needed to figure it out. He was completely unaware that all of this that he was feeling was due to his sudden testosterone loss. And he was about to try to handle it literally on his own, completely unarmed. After a couple of tests and doctor visits, we were able to get him the right amount he needed and get it on a regular basis. And now he is back to his regular self, being the wonderful person that I've always known him to be. I'm so happy to see him being okay again that I can't share with him that the damage is still there without causing harm to his mental health, well-being, that we have worked so hard to get him to.
Wait. So he was having a medical condition. He's now recovering from the medical condition.
And there's harbored resentment.
And you are harboring resentment towards him because he had a medical issue?
Right. Medical issues are an involuntary thing.
Right. It's not like he chose to have low testosterone.
This man was miserable. He was about to ruin his own life and broke down sobbing in front of you.
So there's a lot to this.
Right.
And I was going to wait till the end and just be like, I was going to just drop it at the very end of the email and be like, the reason why you guys had the issue that you had with him almost leaving is because he can't talk to you.
Yeah.
Because if he was able to be like, hey, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm fucking tired. I'm depressed. I don't feel good. I can't eat. Like,
right.
I'm gaining weight. I feel like a fucking blob when I look in the mirror. I'm having all these issues. You would have been able to maybe Google or been the logic thought process while he's going through this depressive episode. He didn't come to you because there's no safety in that. And I was just going to drop that at the end and be like, that's why the testosterone dropping the way that it did affected your marriage or relationship. But I also think that the drop comes from his thyroid and the other things that are going on in his body. I'm willing to bet he already had low testosterone, and all the medicines and shit that they're giving him probably fucked his hormones up even more.
Yeah. How can you say that you had an epiphany and this massive understanding that women have a leg up with the fact that there are more readily understood resources and there's support and there's community, and men don't have this? And then the next paragraph well, I hate him for it. You didn't say I hate him for it. I put that in there. You said that
the damage has been done.
I can't share with him the damage is still there without causing harm to his mental well-being.
Wait till you have menopause and hope to God that he has more grace than you do. Because you can't control that.
No, you can't.
He's going to go, I get it, babe. I remember what it was like for me to have my testosterone fucked up. Your estrogen's not right now. Your testosterone also could be wrong because that affects women too. And I'm going to be here for you. I got you. Because I have an understanding. And even though I don't know what you're going through and I can't relate to that, I'm going to have some grace with you because I understand what it feels like to have hormones fucked up, which is what she should have said, because you're a woman and you start with it with puberty and you deal with it every month and you've got the resources and you understand that menopause is coming. So because you understand what hormones are, you should be more understanding in that.
Yeah.
You should be asking yourself why this man was ready to self-destruct instead of talking to you.
Right.
That's the real fucking question here.
Back into the email. I don't know how to tell him that I'm still angry that he hurt me so bad. Okay, it's back in my brain now. My husband, we both have borderline personality disorder. When my husband is going through an episode, that's one of those moments where he has a demon on him. That is not my husband. I am not interacting with my husband. So anything that comes out of my husband's mouth, whether it be a tone of voice or just something that's really shittily phrased, I'm not taking it personally because I know my husband would check himself. In that moment of low testosterone and he was going through that medical condition, you have to have massive grace with him because that wasn't your husband.
We've actually experienced that.
We have.
You told me, because the last company that I was with before I got with Matrix would make me come off my testosterone.
They would. To
do a recheck to see if my testosterone's still fucking low, like it's going to just magically fix itself. But I would have to come off for 2 to 3 weeks. And that 2 to 3 weeks would create a depressive me where I would sleep all the fucking time. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to train. I didn't want to go anywhere.
You didn't want to have any intimacy.
I didn't want to do shit. I didn't want to be touched. And you were like, I don't like this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. I can't control it. And luckily I found Matrix and they were able to get my shit in order. I don't have to come off anymore. But the person that you become when your hormones is fucked up is not the person that you are normally.
Right. And that conversation helped me see all of that.
Right.
And it was just a simple conversation of like, hey, babe, I've noticed like you really don't want to do anything anymore. And I gave my perspective. I feel like there's a lack of love, like there's a detachment happening. And that's when you elaborate on everything that you were going through because of the low testosterone.
Right.
How can I be mad at you for that? How can I hold that against you? Especially when it's fixed. Like we are back to where we were at. You are no longer that person. Things are done. Where life is great. Now we know if we start seeing those signs again, baby, you need to get your testosterone checked.
Yep.
It's all about perspective. Back into the email. I don't know how to tell him that I'm still angry that he hurt me so bad. I don't want to guilt him or make him feel bad because his testosterone caused him to make decisions he really didn't want.
So you have a conversation about the next time you're feeling like that, we need to talk about it so that I can understand what you're going through, because if I don't know, I can't help you.
Yeah. Why didn't you feel like you could come to me?
Right.
I'm really trying to be okay and work on myself, but it hurts much knowing that he's no longer my fiance and they could very much do the same thing and secretly pack up and leave me again.
You think that him being your fiance could stop that? It
Married
didn't stop
people do
the
it all the
first
time,
Right.
yeah.
Married people fucking abandon each other all the time.
Right.
Be the best woman you can be for him and be there and hope that he's willing to do the same thing and fix your life.
Right.
You,
That's also one you are harboring that. And now you are holding that against him. That man broke down sobbing in front of you saying, I don't want to leave. I don't know why I'm doing this.
yeah.
And now you're going to hold that against him and go, well, now I'm worried you're going to leave me again. It can be in the back of your mind. Now you look out for signs and have a conversation of why did we get to that point?
Right. Hey, are you okay?
Right.
How you feeling today, babe? Right? Like,
yeah. Back into the email. We behave like boyfriend and girlfriend, but our status hasn't changed since we chose to be labeled as single and start over from that day.
but you're still living together.
Wait, status hasn't changed since we chose to be labeled as single.
Are we talking about like on Facebook?
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
Or are you guys living together? He decided to stay and assumes that you guys are together again.
I couldn't live in that limbo. Okay, back into the email. I'm angry that all of this could have been avoided if he had the knowledge and support available to him prior to this happening. You could have been that support.
You could have. Yep, absolutely. That's exactly where my brain went. You should have been that support system.
Right.
Because women understand hormones.
In a world where men have no resources and no community and no support, the way you said earlier, you should have been the one as his fiance, as his woman, to say, babe, I'm here for you. I don't know what we got to do. I don't know who we have to call, but we will figure this out.
Yep. If his testosterone dropped that fast and it got to that point, she would have seen things changing.
Right.
Hey, I noticed you're depressed. What's going on? If only men were able to talk to their women without it being thrown back in their face and weaponized against them, and we were able to be comfortable and truly have that equality in a marriage where it is okay to be like, hey, today I am thinking about eating a 45. This is what's going on and this is why. Instead, we're taught to shut the fuck up, bottle it up, and go about our life. Because we're told that if we are vulnerable or emotional in front of you, we are weak and you won't
Right.
love us anymore because of it.
Or it hurts too much to hear you say that.
Right.
I've heard you say things like that. And I have never made you feel bad for telling me those things. It hurts to hear because I experience days like that. And to truly love somebody, to know that they're going through that, it hurts.
Right.
But I don't tell me those things. Like we said, I can't remember if it was this podcast or the one we did prior, but you said you train your person how to treat you, how to be around you.
Mm-hmm.
If your man is coming to you and is being emotionally vulnerable, is like saying, look, I'm thinking about unaliving myself. Don't tell me that. That hurts. Why would you say that? I can't believe you would say something like that. That man was just really fucking open with you and you shut it down quick and hard.
Yep.
Back into the email. I am angry that all of this could have been avoided if he had the knowledge and the support available to him prior to this happening. But unfortunately, no man wants to talk about it or bring it to awareness.
That's not true at all.
Meet my husband, Chris.
Who's been promoting matrix hormones for a year now.
Even before we got with matrix hormones, when we started the podcast, you were really big on hormones because you understand what it does to the
Right.
body.
Well, it was because they kept making me come off of them.
Right.
And all of the times that I was heavy about unaliving myself, it was when I was off my testosterone.
It was.
We need that hormone to function the way the man is supposed to function. Just like you guys don't function properly without estrogen,
Right.
we need testosterone. It is our main hormone in our body that makes us men. But it's demonized.
Right.
And for men who think that testosterone is a steroid instead of a fucking hormone that's in our system, it's because it's not our hormones are not educated the way that your hormones are,
Right.
which is what I was trying to get at in the beginning.
That makes sense, the way that you just said that. I don't know if you were saying it the exact same way prior, but that just clicked differently in my brain. To know that men demonize men for taking steroids,
Well, most men do.
steroids
Yeah.
or hormones, that's insane to me.
Yep.
And to say that no man wants to talk about it,
That's not true, though.
the men at Matrix Hormones, vast wealth of knowledge there, and they are driven to help men and women with their hormones.
Yep.
If you say no man wants to talk about it, you haven't researched enough. Like, you have not even looked into anything.
Right. There's communities everywhere. Facebook, Discord, fucking Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of places that you can get information about testosterone. Men need that shit. And it's more common for men to talk about it in private than it is for men to just discuss it openly because it is shunned.
Right.
But you look at it, any gym thing anywhere, there's more men on testosterone who go to the gym than you know what I mean? Like, it's just normal. It's a very normal thing. But it should be normalized. It should not be demonized and shunned. Testosterone as a whole shouldn't be demonized, but it is in the feminist movement. Toxic masculinity stems from testosterone.
That's another one of those things to just make men appear like they are
weak,
the weaker species, and
they want to.
They are the problem. They are the aggressors because of testosterone. Back into the email. Not even the doctor prepared him for the emotional and mental changes that he was going to endure. They just prescribed him the testosterone supplement and sent him on his way. This isn't fair, and this isn't right. Nothing in life is fair.
That makes no sense.
What?
That whole thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I know how I felt when I was in my 20s.
Right.
The doctor gives you testosterone and you start injecting yourself with testosterone, right? You actually stick yourself with a needle in the muscle and inject an oil into your body. And they don't tell you that this is going to fix your depression and your mental health, and you didn't go and Google it.
Right.
You just started sticking yourself because some random doctor told you to.
Yeah. That's what people do.
No, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Men know what testosterone does. You ask almost, I would say 85 to 90% of men, if you were to say, what would testosterone do if you had a higher testosterone? They're going to tell you I would fuck like a rabbit. I would feel like I was 20. My aches and pains would go away. I'd be rejuvenated. I'd sleep. I'd eat. My weight would go down. Like, we know. Most men know the effects of testosterone. They just don't know how to get their hands on it.
Right.
Or they think that it's evil to stick yourself with it because now you're taking steroids.
Mm.
I think that the last 5 or 10 years there's been a very big shift
Yes.
in that. But I believe beforehand that wasn't the case, which is why I was making the argument earlier.
Yeah.
And I only have to say that because somebody's going to be like, well, earlier in the episode you said, ugh.
Right.
Well, I'm explaining it now, so.
I want to touch on this isn't fair. I tell our kids all the time, nothing in life is fair.
Yeah.
Nothing in life is fair. Any argument that you can make out there, it wasn't fair. Was it right that it happened? No, probably not, because there are some very egregious people out there who do very foul things. I'm very much not okay on so many different levels with this whole situation, but damn it, I'm going to try to make sure that he is okay. Okay, so now I'm confused. So there is anger built up within you. There's, from my perspective, it seems like resentment because of things that happen when he's on low testosterone.
That's not in his control. The testosterone's not in his control.
Not in his control. There were chemistry within the body was not right. So even though all of that happened, you don't know how to talk to him. You don't care how not okay you are, you still want him to be okay. You're going to further build the resentment that you have towards him because your needs aren't being met while you still go above and beyond to make sure his are. There has to be a point where you take a step back and go, okay, I'm breaking this cycle and I have to have this conversation with him. You are not going to go above and beyond to make sure he's okay while continuing to suppress your own emotions because it's going to bleed out into the world and it's going to affect your husband. Or not your husband. Partner, question mark?
Well, that's the problem. Here's a breakdown of all of this.
Yeah.
He was unaware of the importance of testosterone in his body and did not think to have it checked until it was too late. That's number one.
Okay.
That is not something that was in his control. It was a lack of knowledge. Therefore, he was ignorant to what was happening, and it dictated things on an emotional level and almost destroyed their relationship.
Right.
He confessed what was going on, decided to stay. She now has resentment because they have not worked through the fact that they are living together and still not together with a title.
Right.
And that's where the issue comes in, because they fixed the hormones. He's back to being who he was, but has not given her the title of girlfriend or fiance yet. And she has hung up on the need for a status. That's the issue of the email.
That's just a conversation.
That's all it is. Hey, are we going to actually take a run at this again? Or are you just biding your time until you're going to move out?
You told me you were leaving. You didn't.
You got your hormones figured out.
So are we engaged still? Or like what's happening with our life?
Right. All of the testosterone talk is the precursor to what happened as to why they're not together. And her resentment is because he has still not given her a title. The status is still not definitive. I would assume, and you should never assume because you make an ass out of you and me.
Right.
But I would assume that if we were at that point and I decided to stay and I'm crying and sobbing and telling you that I don't want to leave,
right,
that our relationship is getting, that we're not separating.
Right, nothing's changed. Yeah, that's exactly how I would have taken that.
Yep.
Like moving the final boxes, you break down sobbing in front of me.
I'm not going anywhere.
I don't want to leave. Word, I don't want you to leave.
Right. We're working through this.
Yeah.
And if I needed to know clarity, hey, are we still married? Are we still going to get married? Are we still in a relationship? I would ask.
Right.
Are you fucking? It's a good question, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you think that if you needed that status before you had sex again and started making that a thing, that you'd have had that conversation with him?
Yeah. Back into the email. I normally don't email or socialize much, so I hope this story that I'm living could just help one person or couple.
I'm sure that's going to help a lot of dudes.
I think it will too, yeah.
Now for my formulated thought.
Okay, it's formulated.
The biggest issue in this entire situation is not his low testosterone, not her issue for a status or a title. It's not the lack of communication that's had on a regular basis. It's the fact that he was not able to come to you when he was wanting to leave, was going through a major depressive episode, and was wanting to like deal with it on his own.
Right. That's the distancing that somebody does when they are ready to like, okay, I'm done with everything.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you didn't recognize it, and he wasn't comfortable enough telling you about it.
Evan, you're not fucking leaving.
Yeah. This is where your issue really lies.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Everything else has kind of just been the fallout of...
Right. It's byproduct.
Yeah.
Which is even crazier to me, because if he had thyroid cancer, that could create a whole lot of problems anyways. Your thyroid is a vital function of your body. When your thyroid stops working, there's a whole lot of things that can go wrong. But if he had thyroid cancer and he beat it, and then had knee surgery and he beat it, you were obviously there through that. Did you train him through those other two things that he can't come to you because you're getting tired of being a caretaker because you didn't do self-care?
Which was evident, and I'm very much not okay on so many different levels with this whole situation, but damn it, I'm going to make sure he's okay.
Right.
I don't want anyone to go through this, but if I could just prevent one, I'll consider that a win. That is a win. If you can prevent one person from going through a shitty experience by giving them the tools they need beforehand, that is 100% a win. Thank you so much for providing guidance through your YouTube and TikTok platforms. I don't have friends, but you guys do make me feel like I have some, so thank you dearly. I get not having friends. You're not missing out on much.
Yeah. I crave that community.
Yeah. I don't. I think it's nice to have people to experience life with. I'm very much an internal person. You're really the only person I talk to through things on my internal life. And of course, I share things on the podcast to help others navigate their own life, but I don't really divulge much to other people.
I pick and choose who I divulge things to. Not everybody needs every facet of who I am as a person. But I miss the community. I miss having somebody to challenge my thoughts. If that dude had somebody that he could have went to and explained everything that was going on with him, somebody could have been like, hey man, have you had your blood checked in a while?
Right.
There could have been a conversation there, but we need that community, because if you only view your life perspective through your lens and you don't have anyone to challenge that perspective, that is your reality unchecked.
Right.
You will never grow. You will never get any better because you don't have an outside community trying to lift you up. Mm-hmm. And that's where having a church group comes in, or having a group of men to sit down and work through relationship problems with you, or be your support when you're having a crisis or you're thinking about unaliving yourself. Like, we need to be able to have those people to reach out to. People need that. Men need that more than anyone, because we don't have that in our homes most of the time.
Yeah.
So, and this email shows that, because he wasn't able to go to her.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that, found it entertaining, funny, or even learned something you didn't know before, share it. And if you're not subscribed, why aren't you? And for those of you who want to support us, get access to exclusive content and live streams, we do have a Patreon. All the links are in the description.